Hello, Internet. It is time for another Battle of Lost Souls battle report. This one is taking part... Say hi, Bullymike.
Hello.
There we go. We are at BoLS Global Headquarters this time with our awesome table, with our awesome terrain. So we're going to go over the board really quickly and then kind of explain what we're doing. So here's our 4x6 board. We have our big, huge, giant mega tower in the center. We have ruled that that is actually a
usable las cannon.
That is an Icarus for if anyone can get onto the upper deck, they can use it. Other than that, you know, heavy cover on the metal part, not heavy cover on the not metal part. We have a whole bunch of forests. These are our awesome Gale Force 9 forests, which I just want to do a quick shout out because you'll notice they're forests, and the only thing that I had to do to make these forests be usable is take them out of the box and throw the box away. So that was really handy because I'm lazy. Other than that, we have our terrain over here. We have a bunch of hills. So somewhat kind of a cluttered board. We are doing one of those painful games that we all know happens, but we don't like to talk about. We have an Eldar on Eldar game. I know it's like minority on minority violence. There are no winners, but we're just going to pretend that we'll show you this one. So what we have here is we have Mike is using his gorgeously painted windrider army. Let's go over that. Okay. Let's see what we got.
I have 3 warwalkers with scatter lasers.
They're over there. They're primed black.
Yeah,
I know.
They're stealth walkers.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
I've got 8 warp spiders, including a exarch with power blades, fast shot, and I think that's it. I don't think I paid for the spinneret rifles.
All right.
6 guardian jet bikes, 2 cannons,
Woo. And
with them is a farseer on a jet bike.
All right.
The spirit stone of Anathlon, I think is what it's called.
Okay.
He does not have a singing spear.
Okay.
Maybe he does. I have to check the list again. But I got a fire prism. The farseer rolled to get Doom, Misfortune, and Guide.
All right.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Guide.
Okay.
I have 3 Vipers with shrieking cannons and scatter lasers.
Thanks. Okay.
Twin-linked scatter laser wave serpent with shrieking cannon.
And who's in there?
There's 6 fire dragons in there.
Ow. Okay.
2 squads of 3 guardian jet bikes here. 2 squads of 3 guardian jet bikes here. They each have a cannon.
Way in the corner.
1 more fire prism.
And what do we have in reserve?
I have 1 Crimson Hunter exarch.
Right. Okay, we have a Crimson Hunter. You'll see him. He's over there in the kitchen. He is black.
Camouflage.
So we're just going to call him the Obsidian Hunter until he gets him painted. Over on my side, we're doing Alaitoc. I have 2 Wave Serpents. We have they both have scatter lasers. They do not actually have those bright lances. Those new turrets are on order. This one has 8 dragons in it. This one has 10 Dire Avengers with a Shimmer Shield exarch. Over here we have squad of 10 Guardians with a scatter laser, and if you look really close, hidden in the darkness, there are 5 Wraith Guard in there with Wraith Cannons. Over here in the central forest, we have of Endor. We have 3 Warwalkers, all scatter lasers. We have Wraith Knight with dual heavy Wraith Cannons, Fire Prism. We have a Farseer with who is attached to a squad of jet bikes. So 3 jet bikes with 1 shuriken cannon. He has a singing spear. His warlord trait is he can split fire, so I'm going to see if I can pull that off. And these are the powers he rolled. We have Guide, Prescience, and Forewarning. And in reserve, over here in the box of junk, we have a squad of 8 Swooping Hawks and another squad of 3 Guardian jet bikes. So these are our objectives. We are playing, we have 1 objective, 2 objectives, 3 objectives, 4 objectives, and then 5 way over here. So 1 of them is way over on Mike's side of the board, and the other 4 are kind of scattered here in this kind of, it's going to be ugly in there. And then we have this last objective here. We have 12-inch deployment zones. I won the role to deploy first, and we're going to see if the Windriders can seize. Here we go, here we go, here we go. What is that? What is that? Oh, so close. All right, we will get back to you at the top of 1, and look forward to seeing you back here. All right, we're back at the top of 1. What basically happened is you can see here on the as opposed to everything that kind of started off here, all of my army basically moved up towards the center and to the left, as opposed to the prism, which went right and moved up. He took a shot at the Wave Serpent, didn't do anything. It is night fighting, so it was really hard to get shots. Wraith Knight moved up, took some shots, also at extreme range with 2 up cover saves. Didn't do anything. But over here, the superstars is that ignore cover. Both of the Wave Serpents both laid into the Warwalker Squadron. The Scatter Lasers, of course, who had to deal with those 2 up cover saves, didn't do anything, but they successfully twin linked the energy field and the Serpent Shield, which rolled a 6 and a 5, so that's 7 shots and 6 shots, and they just did so many wounds with no cover that they couldn't make their 5 up invulnerable saves, destroying all 3 of the Warwalkers on that side. One of them blew up and killed 1 or 2 jet bikes. So pretty good, and that is where we are at the top of 1. We'll see what the Windriders bring. All right, we've returned. It is the bottom of 1, and the Windrider host has moved up. As you can see, they're kind of spread out all over the deployment zone. We have over here, we have jet bikes moving up onto that hill. The fire prism moved out over here.
I don't have to move back.
Over here, everything kind of all is kind of approaching midfield here. Unfortunately, it was night fighting, so a whole lot of shooting. Just huge amounts of shooting laid into the fire prism, laid into the Wraith Knight, laid into the Guardians, laid into the both of the Wave Serpents, and all of that ended up, when the dust settled, with 4 dead Guardians who exactly passed their leadership check, and that is all that was done. So there we go. But everyone is now pretty much night fighting is gone, and it's time for the real herdiness to start. So we will catch you guys at the top of 2. All right, we are at the top of 2, and as night has lifted, just a whole lot of shooting. So over here, the Wave Serpents moved up and are kind of in position behind these pieces of debris. One of them fired his wave. They both fired scatter lasers. That combined with all of that fire. Combined with the Scatter Laser over here, destroyed all 3 of the Vipers. So there was a Viper Squadron right there, and they just took a whole bunch of glancing hits and killed them. The Wraith Knight, which is both prescienced and has forewarning on it, it was here. It leapt up on top of the building, shot twice at the Wave Serpent, put 1 hull point on it, then charged in and finished it off. Rolled triple 1s on the penetration though, so it didn't blow up. So it is just dead, and there are 6 pissed off fire dragons who got out right behind it. So we're going to see what's going on with there. He does have forewarning though, so he has a 4 up invulnerable save. So we'll see what's up with that. Over here, the Warwalkers moved up and battle focused, and they're kind of moving up along the edge of this big giant tower in the center. They were guided as well. They laid into the warp spiders over there, put I think 17 wounds on them, and those guys made 15 of 17 saves. So only 2 of them died. So go warp spiders. And then over here on the right flank, both of the Alaitoc reserves showed up. So we have another squad of jet bikes. They moved up, and between them and the Farseers, they put some decent wounds with their shuriken cannons. We have kind of a little jet bike war happening over here between all the Guardian jet bikes. One of those squadrons took some casualties and broke, and then the Warp Spiders, the Swooping Hawks, deep struck in way back there, hit the jet bikes as well, killed yet more of them, and then battle focused to spread out a little bit. And then the final piece of the puzzle is there's a piece of empty board right there where there was a fire prism, which was blown up by this guy firing that really nasty 9-1 beam. So it was a pretty just a lot of shooting. Really, Mike had some really good saves on his part, but the Eldar just shot so much, and it was pretty awful. We have the Wraith Knight. It's kind of out of position now. It's right in the middle of his army. We're going to see what's going on there. But because we are Craftworld brothers and Mike is sad, the Eldar have a weakness for peanut butter cookies, so I'm going to give him a sadness peanut butter cookie. There you go, Mike. There you go. Thank you. Okay. And we'll get back to you at the bottom of 2. All right, we are back. It's the bottom of 2, and the Windriders, they have actually had a good turn. First of all, you see how they're all kind of hiding in amongst that whole center area right there in the center? Well, that's where they all scuttled off to in the assault phase with all their tricksy jetbike moves and everything else. They were in a huge, giant concentration right there around my now dead and departed Wraith Knight. So they poured everything into it, the whole army. The Crimson Hunter over there showed up, everything showed up, they all laid into it, they exactly killed it, and then had, with one, it took the entire army except for one unit, which was that Prism, which took a shot through this destroyed building and knocked this guy's wave at
How misfortunate.
his serpent shield out. I know, they're just, I'm
How
really...
misfortunate for the Wraith Knight.
Yes, this is
We
true.
cast misfortune on.
Yes, the Wraith Knight was misfortuned, which might have had something to do with
It's misfortunate.
with its fate. It was misfortunate. So moving on to the top of 3, we'll see whether or not we can deal with these troublesome hiding jet bikes. All right, talk to you guys later. All right, we are back in the Rangers of Alaitoc. We are back at the top of 3. So what happened here? It's just kind of one of those turns where we're just kind of slowly trading each other down. Actually, a decent turn. Now, in general, the whole army is pretty much up on the midfield line. You can see the Warwalkers are continuing to move up. Farseer and his guys are up here. The Fire Prism is moving up on the other side of it, and then way over here, right under the ominous shadow of the Crimson, of the Black Hunter, I have the full squad of Hawks and the jet bike. So what happened this turn was we laid just trying to attrit all these guys down and pushing them away from the midfield line where all those objectives are. The dragons got shot from numerous directions. The Hawks laid into them, some jet bikes laid into them, the Farseer laid into them, knocked them down to, I think there's 2 of them left or 3.
2 fire dragons.
Okay, there's 2 fire dragons left. We put a whole bunch of fire on the spiders as well. Didn't do too well. I think we killed 1. That's all that was going on over there. However, where our fire did work out really well was a combination of the Warwalkers and lucky shot from from the Wave Serpent going through this building took out the second Fire Prism. So they now don't the Windrider host now pretty much has no tanks left. At all. They do have the Crimson Hunter, and then the Farseer, all of the huge fusillade of guided Warwalkers with scatter lasers laid into the Farseer and stripped him entirely of all of his jet bikes. So he's all by himself. He can join others, but you know we did get a pretty decent sized squad of jet bikes off of the table. So that's where we look like headed into the bottom of 3. There's still a lot of fight left. There's a lot of this Windrider host is really squirrely. It's so maneuverable, and with all the jet bike moves, it's really hard to kind of get your hooks into. And we'll talk to you guys at the bottom of 3. Okay, we're back. It is bottom of 3. The Windriders, they're so irritating. They just will not cede the field. So what they've done this turn, first of all, remember how I said, hey, those two fire dragons, they're not a threat anymore. Well, what those little Eldar tricksters did was they hopped all the way up to the top, manned the Icarus, and pointed it straight down at the that crater was the Fire Prism. So, moral of the story: if there's an Icarus turret anywhere around, yeah, even two fire dragons, kind of irritating. The warp spiders, who we just rolled dismally against last turn, 5 warp spiders with an Exarch is definitely a threat. They were down there. They hopped up here, killed all the Warwalkers, and then jumped back up in there. So, all right, pretty good. And then, other than that, on the rest of the stuff was fairly ineffectual. We did have the Crimson Hunter hopped from over there all the way over to the middle of his lines over there, and that is where we are right now. We're going to be headed into the top of 4, and all of these things are full and have all kinds of stuff in them. So I think, we're heading to turn 4. I think this is going to be the turn where Alaitoc comes out to play. Alright guys, it's the top of 4. These armies are starting to get really tired. Everything disembarked and got out this turn on the Alaitoc side. We have over here, the Wraith Guard have broken cover and they're starting to shamble up there. Dragons have gotten out and they're getting into some ruins over there. Their ride moved over there. These guys both moved up. The Dire Avengers got out, moved up, and combined with just a bunch of jet bike shenanigans, we put a whole bunch of fire, managed to kill the 2 last dragons that were up there the hard way with their 2 up cover saves, just with the weight of fire, and then put a couple wounds on the warp spiders. Actually didn't do much, but they broke. So they broke and they're down there, headed towards their side of the board. And then all the combined fire from the jet bikes and the hawks and everything else, we knocked 2 3-man guardian jet bike squads that were over there are both down to 1 man. So just a whole bunch of dregs left over, kind of, but there's still, you know, these guys can hide, they can run, they can move really fast. We'll see what they're going to bring, and going into the bottom of 4. All right, everybody, we're back. The Windrider host. There are very few of the Windriders left, but they are fighting. They are fighting dirty. What did we do? We had a whole bunch of shooting over here. There's not many of them, but they were just hitting this turn. We lost the jet bike over here. Made his leadership check. We had the warp spiders. Roll a 2, reform, rally, jump up there, battle focus, do all kinds of crazy shenanigans. Basically,
just battle focus.
Basically, they ran down. They broke, ran down there. Then they came back. Shot these guys in the face, killed 4 of them, they held, and then they double jumped and ended up right back where they started, all safe and sound up there on the top tier. Over here, the Farseer, overcome with grief at his dead brethren, decided it was better to charge the Wave Serpent that had its Serpent Shield destroyed. They did nothing to it, but the Crimson Hunter Exarch, however, did barely blow that wave, the perfectly intact Wave Serpent to. It is gone. It is in the Infinity Circuit, is where it went. So not a whole lot of Windriders left, but we're moving into the bottom of 5. And we're into the top of 5, and we'll see whether or not I can actually do something about these little tricksy jet bikes that are moving all over the place. So talk to you guys soon. Alright guys, it's the top of 5, and we are hopefully doing cleanup operations here. We'll see what kind of shenanigans the Windrider host can pull off. Everyone is basically hoofing it. The Guardians finally got out of their building, moved up. They're on that objective. The Wraith Guard are in front of them, kind of moving up methodically. The Dragons broke cover, moved over there, put some shots into the Farseer and his 2 jetbike buddies, killing 1 of them. Over here, the Dire Avengers are just scrambling up that hill, put a big fusillade of fire into the Warp Spiders, and finally their super cover failed them, killed 3 of them, even with 2 up cover, and the Exarch broke, so he ran and is back there. And then way on the Windrider backfield, the combination of the Swooping Hawks and the remaining Guardian Jetbike did manage to take out those last 2 remaining stragglers, so those 2 scoring units are gone. So we're headed into the bottom of 5 objective-wise. Looking pretty good. I'm on that objective with jet bikes, on this objective with jet bikes, on this objective with Guardians. So we got 3 right now. And then we have, there's an objective directly underneath that Wave Serpent that's just a big giant mess. He's got troops there, I don't, but it's just a big mess there. And then there is no one on that one way over here. And there we go, we'll see what the bottom of 5 looks like. Yes, so you hear the evil Farseer of the Windriders laughing over there. So they're not going down without a fight. They only have 4 models left. There's 1 Guardian Jetbike and the Farseer. We have the Exarch. He is running. He's falling back. We have the we have the Crimson Hunter. So first of all, we'd like to have a very special lament to. Let me see if we can find him.
The doomed, most misfortunate.
This is the most unfortunate Guardian in the universe. This poor guy who was on this objective over here, he was misfortuned, doomed, and then the Crimson Hunter Exarch was guided.
Yes.
So. It was just bad. This guy, it was so bad. What happened to him, needless to say, he is not with us after being struck by a whole lot of very, very high strength, very low AP firepower. On his way off the table, the Spider Exarch paused briefly only to kill 2 Swooping Hawks with his lovely gun. And then over here, these 2 guys charged. So 2, that is a Farseer and 1 Guardian Jetbike charged a Dire Avenger Exarch with Shimmer Shield and a Power Weapon. 5 Dire Avengers challenged him, beat him. They failed their counterattack roll, beat them, won combat by 1. They failed their leadership check, and then they caught them and destroyed them. So, and then they went back up on top of their little Tower of Doom up there. So, all right.
I think we did get one rules thing wrong where the War Spiders, after they had regrouped, I don't think they could have moved to do their jump. It was just like 2 turns ago. So
yeah, so basically, someone looked that up. I don't know whether or not if you're broken, whether like
it says you can't otherwise move.
Yeah, so if a squad is broken, if warp spiders in particular are broken, can they do their extra jump in the assault phase?
Jump pack move.
Don't know. Didn't really change much. Just move. Something for you guys to look up. And let's see if the game ends on a 1 or 2. Dun 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 dun.
Nope.
No. On to turn 6. I have to kill 4 models. 4 models. All right, we'll see. All right, it is top of 6, and we have achieved a tabling. To make it as insulting as possible, the Crimson Hunter was finally sent on his way by the Guardian Scatterlaser, who got an amazing shot and blew it off the table. The the broken Warp Spider Exarch was hit by the 8-man squad of guided dragons, so he could not he did not make it. And then in their first and only shot of the game, the Wraith Guard actually got in some great shots and got rid of the with their Wraith cannons. And alas, finally got the Farseer and his 1 remaining jet bike. Mike, he is eating the peanut butter.
I eat because I'm sad. I'm sad because I eat.
So, thoughts on the game?
Wave Serpents.
Wave Serpents. Once again,
yeah,
Wave Serpents.
Fucking insane.
Don't leave home without Wave Serpents.
So it ignores cover. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was crazy. The Wave Serpents did a lot of the killing. I kind of held back. Virtually none of my army actually moved past the midfield line until like turn 4 or 5. So I tend to I just kind of moved up and held at midfield and shot across it. And
Anybody that counts on Nurgle shrouding from Wave,
the Wave Serpents are going to do bad things.
Redesign,
Yep. Mike's army was actually really, really squirrely. He did about, I want to say, that's all dead. I would agree.
Half. I think it goes
about half. It was just, I had a really, really strong first turn, so that was that. Even though it was through Night Fight, getting rid.
I
knew right off the bat that when he put down the 3 scatter lasers, Warwalkers, that those just had to go because those are just really, really scary. So I had a big firepower advantage over him for the first 3 turns, and I got ahead and kind of kept the lead on firepower, which I think is pretty much what you have to do. With Eldar, the Wraith Knight, I definitely used it too aggressively. I mean, it did cause a giant distraction. It moved up to kind of that point there, and that's pretty much as far as his army got. He spent an entire turn killing it. It definitely kind of stalled the inertia of the army, but it did die, and that was a big blow to me. The game seemed to the loss of the Wraith Knight definitely made everything go. Everything was slower and harder. And that Crimson Hunter was just a complete pain in the ass. That thing came in and was just shenanigans. It just killed every turn. It fired at something. It killed something.
I think it would have been easier to kill than you had thought that it was.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think the Eldar army really has a whole lot of easy ways to deal with
those Wave Serpents
with air. That's true.
One Wave Serpent around shooting, it's gone.
This is true. This is true. The Wave Serpents will.
If you got Wave Serpent within 36 inches of a Crimson Hunter.
So there you go, guys. That was our Eldar on Eldar game. We had a great time. It was super fun. Mike has just a beautiful army. I always like playing against it. So we had our nice table. We brought out our nice terrain. We had 2 fully painted armies for you guys. And thanks for watching. And leave all of your awesome comments down where below. And we'll talk to you guys next week.